Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm FREDRANGER and I hope you're doing good. After 3 months of owning the Leica Q3 43 APO-Summicron f2, I can honestly say that this isn't just a new focal length. It's a whole new personality for the Q line. You see, coming from the Leica Q2 28 Summilux, and as someone who also shoots the M11 with a 28 Elmarit, 35 Summilux, and 50 Summilux, I've spent a lot of time figuring out where this camera fits in my real-world workflow, and how Leica actually managed to make something that feels both familiar and completely fresh at the same time. Let's talk about what makes this camera special, and why, for me at least, it might be Leica's sweet spot. At first glance, the Q3 43 looks exactly like what we know and love: clean design, premium build, out of magnesium and aluminum to create that strong yet lightweight camera. But the real difference isn't in the form factor, of course, it's in the lens. That 43 APO-Summicron f2 changes everything about how this camera renders the world. It's not just sharper, it's actually, how can I say, truer. The apochromatic correction removes any fringing, even in harsh contrast. I mean, I think this camera performs very well. I mean, the lens and the colors stay pure. The transition between tones are buttery smooth. The micro contrast gives every surface, like skin, glass, metal, this tactile, almost like three-dimensional presence. It's the kind of signature that I normally expect from like a 50 APO on the M11, not in a fixed lens compact camera. When I reviewed the first raw file from this camera, I literally said out loud, okay, this is different. Switching from the 28mm to the 43mm also completely reshaped how I compose. Of course, it's not the same focal length. The 28 has always been the storyteller focal length, immersive, wide, great for context, putting a lot of context in your photos. But the 43 pulls you in just a bit closer. It's more personal, and dare I say it, a little bit more cinematic in how it renders the scene. It sits perfectly between my 35mm and my 50mm Summilux, giving me a natural field of view without distortion, yet enough subject separation to add a little bit of depth in the photo. For street travel and day-to-day life, it's become that one camera, one lens setup that feels effortless. I'm capturing less of everything and a bit more of what matters in the frame. The 60 megapixel BSI sensor, the same you find in the M11, this sensor is just a beast. You get massive dynamic range, incredible shadow recovery, and Leica's unmistakable color signature. See, I didn't say color science. Oh man, I just said it. Anyways, but paired with the Apple lens, the files have a clarity that is hard to describe until you see them side by side, honestly. There's a density to the details that feels medium format like. It's pretty impressive. The low light performance on this is still excellent. ISO 6400 is totally usable. That's my limit on the Q series. And the autofocus is way faster and more confident than the Q2 that I've used for more than 6 years. The IO autofocus, it actually works most of the time. And those Leica looks, if you shoot JPEGs, well, they're getting closer to that film-like result straight out of camera without any need for editing. Of course, it's not the JPEGs you get on a Fujifilm camera with all the recipes, but it's getting very interesting to see that in Leica cameras these days. Here's how the Q3 43 fits into my Leica ecosystem. The M11, this is kind of more my ritual camera, the slow, deliberate, mechanical storytelling type of camera. I mean, it's the same for the M6, except of course it's film. It's even more mechanical and more analog. But the Q3 43 APO is my instinct one. It's the fast, precise, and always ready type of machine that I like to carry every day. Because the 43mm sits right in between the 35 and the 50 Summilux lenses, it kind of bridges those two worlds beautifully. I can grab just this camera and still get the Leica rendering that I love without switching lenses or missing the shot while switching lenses. When I travel, my setup is now the Q3 43 and the M11, probably with a 28 Elmarit, and that's it. Call it a day. You've got a two camera that completely cover what I want, and this is zero compromise for me. I might go to telephoto if I need to, but most of the time I'll get around with a 28 and a 43 now. Of course, Leica is not perfect. No camera brand is perfect. And for me, the menu still feels dated, although it's probably one of the simplest menu on the market, and I do appreciate that. It does feel outdated a bit. I would love to see a little bit more categorization and personalization in the way you set up the menu. As an example, the favorite section is just you say yes or no, and they all go, you know, on top of each other. You cannot reorder them. You cannot create folders or anything like that. So I would love to see that as an update in the software. The file size, yes, well, they're huge, right? Those are 60 megapixel photos, and you don't have to shoot 60 megapixel. You can lower the resolution 33 or 36, I forgot, and then 18 or 16. This is a tri-resolution sensor, but might as well shoot 60 megapixel if you bought the Leica Q3 or the M11 as an example. And then the battery life, well, it's fine. It's not great, but it's, you know, gets me around, and I would suggest you bring in an extra battery, but now it has the USB-C charging, and that's really something that I find myself using most of the time to charge both of these cameras. And the lens, it's so sharp that it exposes every mistake. Misfocus slightly and you'll know it, trust me. Again, it's a pro and it's a con at the same time. You know, like we're far from an M6 on film with an old 35, you know, Summicron. But honestly, these are small prices to pay for this level of image quality, trust me. After 3 months, the Leica Q3 43 has completely earned its place in my bag. If the Q2 28 Summilux was my romantic street shooter's dream, like fast, wide, emotional, then the Q3 43 APO is the precision storyteller's dream. It's balanced, neutral, and deeply refined. I would say it's Leica's at its purest. Every frame feels intentional, every file ready to print on large or grade beautifully in Lightroom or Capture One or whatever the software you're using. It gives me 95% of what the M11 experience is, but in a grab-and-go body. And honestly, that's a magic trick only Leica can pull off. So yes, this one is staying with me for the long run. Thanks for watching, friends, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. This is a beautiful community of more than 10,000 people interacting and chatting about gear, storytelling. And also I want to say that I will be doing a lecture at the Leica Society International meeting right here in the beautiful city of Montreal. So if you are around in October, I will put the dates in the description and on screen. Make sure to register and subscribe to the LSI. This is a great organization. If you are passionate about Leica cameras and just photography in general, they are a beautiful group. So I've got a few projects coming also where both the Q3 43 and the M11 will go maybe head-to-head or just a real-world shooting experience. So if you want to know about that, make sure you activate the bell notification so you know when the next video will come up. Please be happy, enjoy life, and enjoy your Leica Q3 43 APO F2. Cheers.